Hey, hi guys, how are you doing? Today I'm going to try an experiment on something I don't usually do. I'm going to try filming this segment, this vlog I'm going to do on a review and my gear that I use for doing videos for you guys. But in order for me to do that, I got to have a second camera. So I'm going to show you what's all involved in what I'm doing here. I'm going to use two different cameras and I'm going to see how this turns out. I got a cell phone that I'm using on a tripod. I just bought a little cheap device to hold it to get by on, and we're going to see how it turns out. It's supposed to do 1080p and I never used it, and we'll see how it works. So let's give it a try. I'll take you around and show you what the device looks like, and you look from there. Yeah, so as you can see, we got a little unit here that holds a cell phone. It's just a little plastic device that hooks up to the tripod. No big deal. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with it. They're using it a lot in churches now to record so they can Facebook their services so that people that don't want to go to church can see it at home. So I got the idea from church to buy one of these. I knew they were available, but I didn't want to get wrapped up in doing cell phone work on using video because I don't think they do a great job. For one thing, the cell phones are real awkward to zoom in and out and controllability for everything. They're not like a regular DSL camera or a regular, decent camcorder. So I'm going to use this phone here now and show you guys what I use in YouTube and the equipment I use. So, alright, I'm going to turn over to this here and we'll see how good of a job it does. Okay, we're on record. And as you can see, the camera is going in and out on brightness already. But it looks not too bad. We'll see how it turns out on film here when we do the upload on it. Anyways, this is the unit that I use right now I've been using it for years already. And you guys probably heard of the DJI Ronin S gimbal. We're looking at a unit that's pretty hefty. You're looking at about 7 pounds that you carry. You're doing videos, walking through the woods and everything. As you see some of the videos I did where I'm walking up the hill. It was about a good mile and a half or so, and I'm carrying this thing, trying to find the hill. There's that video there. But anyways, the camera I'm using is the Canon Vixia HF G130, or G30 I believe it is. Yeah, G30. Now they came out with a new one, and they got the G50. That shoots 4K. But I'm not going to get into that because it's just, this one's going to go a long time. Now, this camera went through a little bit of an accident a while back where the whole gimbal fell off the car and the camera fell and everything on the ground. And I was amazed on how well it held up. Just want to go over a few things with this. As you know, that on these gimbals, I'll get just a little better position here so you can see the motors. You got 2 motors, well actually 3 motors. You got a motor here for the up and down, but not so much up and down, it's sideways. It's sideways with this motor. This motor is the up and down. So what you got to do is you got to bring the camera forward and back to get it to get it balanced. So you got to do all your balancing. I'm not going to do that on film because there's hundreds and hundreds of videos out there that show this particular gimbal. I just wanted to show you the equipment that I'm using. My channel's not about talking technology on cameras, but and gimbals and all that stuff. But I just want to show you what I was using. I always said I was going to show you my camera gear. I was never going to be able to do it because I didn't have a way of filming it. So this all runs with modes. You got Okay, first of all, we talked about the camera. We got on the hot shoe that's on here. I got ahead of myself. There's a hot shoe on here. You can run the hot shoe several different ways. There's two hot shoes on here. One of the hot shoes is where you put your mic, your shotgun mic or whatever mic you're going to use. Or there's an internal mic that's built in the camera as well. This particular device here I got set up right now has got my receiver that's mounted on the hot shoe to pick up the mic that's on my chest here. So it picks up all the sound, and I can go approximately 50 feet away and it still picks up my voice. So I think this is when I had the camera on, so this way you heard that beep. I'm gonna turn it off right now. So we're not using this to film right now. So just to go over a few things, I put a shade on here. The shade goes up and down. Position it. You can turn it all the way to the front, flip it around, and then you can see yourself while you're doing it. While you're filming the intros or the outros, you can see the position of yourself. You can flip the lens here, and I don't know if you can see, but if I turn that on again, you'll see the image inside the screen. See how lit up? All right, that's what you're seeing. Okay, so talked about the hot shoes. You got the place for put the mic, and there's two types of hot shoes on here. There's a dead shoe, and then there's a live hot shoe. The live hot shoe is dedicated to the Canon. I use a Canon shotgun mic periodically, not very often. I got out of that because I went into the lavaliers, which works 10 times better out in wind. So I got a funny hunch that we're going to run into a problem here, because I can see, looking at the camera right now, that I got extreme washout on my face and that. It's pretty bright. So if I could do one of two things. I can put this light on, and you see what happens, and then turn this backlight off and see if that helps any. And you still got too much glow over the top. So I'm going to turn this light off. Now we're in total darkness. Turn this light back on. And we're right back to where we started from. So this is about as good as you're going to get. So, anyways, turn around here a little bit, show you the camera. It's got a joystick on here, and you can turn it wherever you want as you're walking. You keep it going steady. When you walk with it. See how it balances out, and it follows. Now you got a joystick that you got to kind of keep it steady here. So we use two hands as you're walking. Now, what I've got here is 3 different modes I can put this in. As you see, there's lights on here. This is not going to turn out very good because I can't control the cell phone very well. Okay, there's 3 modes. The first mode is set for a certain sensitivity on the joystick, how fast it moves. You can go up and down with it, sideways, any way you want as you're walking. You can control that. And then there's mode 2, which is quite a bit faster, way too fast. And I've always wanted to see why that was. We're trying to get that to lock in, and we can't get it to lock in for some reason. So here's mode 3. And mode 3 it turns the camera sideways. Like if you want to do a roll. All right, so you can do a spin where the thing turns. So if you put it in a mode like, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, like right here. So I can film this way. That's why you see me get real low to the ground with it. You can put it in mode 2. And mode 2 allows you to do that. And once you get it in there, see it'll stay put wherever you put it. Oh, now it flips around. Now it's spinning. Stop, 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 stop. Just went out of whack because it's in the wrong mode. Put it back in mode 1. So that can happen now. If you don't have this thing zeroed in, I've got to do a little programming on mode 2. I don't use mode 2. I use mode 1. And then there's also another one you can use where you hold the 2 buttons in, lock it down, and now you're in shotgun mode. Or not shotgun mode, it's called sports mode. So the camera stays put wherever you walk. And that's the one I like to use, but you gotta be real careful when you're walking with it, because what it wants to do is it wants to go back and forth as you walk, so you gotta be real careful as you're walking, you know. You can still turn it, but it's real fast. We gotta get that adjusted. Now to get that adjusted, you have to have an app on your phone, and I'll show you that in a minute. Take that back out. There, now we're back in green again. 3. Now, why doesn't it do that? Can't get it back over for some reason. There we go. All I had to do is click the button one time. I forgot how to do that. So we got it back over to mode 1. You hear that ringtone, it tells you the camera is not recording. So it's timed out. Now it goes back to being dead again. You know, so it's just warning you. So I'll just turn that off for right now because we're not recording on it. So yeah, and like I said, you got basically, well, to show you too, you got a large battery. This battery that you see sticking out all the way from right about here all the way back. That battery will last me probably, I'd say steady being on with the hood open, so you can see, you know, the camera's actually on. You could probably let it stay on for about an hour and a half before you have to change the battery, maybe longer. But man, I shouldn't say that because I've done races at the track where the camera never went off, and I got probably 2.5 hours out of it, you know, out of that battery before I had to swap out another battery. Now when I do races and stuff, this comes off and it goes on the tripod that you just seen back there where the cell phone's on. You know, so I just thought I'd bring this to your attention, and you guys never seen the equipment I use, you know, and then I've got the thing on my side pocket here. This is the transmitter that goes to the receiver, and the transmitter's got a wire hooked up through my shirt and onto the pocket. It's the best you can do because everything's got to be in line. It's got to be able to see the receiver. So if you want to hide this completely, you can hide the mic. Well, you can't hide the mic. You got to have the mic by your mouth. But these wires and everything, and this pack on the side, you know, if you want to put it behind you, if you did that, you'd have trouble with it. You know, where you lose sound for a couple seconds and then go back on, and then periodically you lose sound and then come back on again. So you got to have this antenna where it can get to the receiver. Well, as of right now, we're real close, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you could have this behind you and it would probably pick up fine. But as soon as you get like 25 feet away from it, there's where you have a problem, or even 15 feet. I'd say even 10 feet, you know. If you're walking up, you're trying to interview somebody, or you're trying to show a product or something, and the camera's on a tripod, and then you walk out 10 feet, you're trying to talk, that's where you're going to lose signal. So these ain't all what they're cracked up to be for the miking system, you know. I wish they'd give. They do have better ones. They got the Sennheisers that are for one unit is like $899. You know, if you want to buy one unit, it's one mic, one transmitter, and a receiver. You know, it's 800 some bucks for Sennheiser, and you won't have any problem with that. That thing will go out. You won't have any disconnection from your voice or anything. It works fine. I never used one, but I heard that they're just extraordinary, fabulous for quality, you know. And your voice sounds pretty good on them and everything. I wasn't going to spend that. I couldn't see it spending that kind of money for doing these YouTubes. So this works out pretty good. I haven't had any big problems with it. I did run into problems with mic a little bit when you see the police department going by with their lights flashing and they're going on an emergency call and they happen to be in your tracks. You get a lot of interference from the radio system, and then they'll cut your mic out. You know, they'll cut the mic out. So that's the only thing I've seen so far. And then sometimes you get into a big city or something, you want to film with it, you'll have problems with interference there. Like in Milwaukee when we did the Milwaukee domes, the mic was cutting in periodically on there, so we're getting static interference because we're in a big city. So it's good for outside. When you're in an environment where there's not a lot of activity with electronic waves going by. So yeah, and then this thing here on this camera, this here comes out, and then you can point it up, and then you can look through as you're filming. You know, but you wouldn't do it on a gimbal. You know, you'd be hand holding the camera. You know, so they give you that option too. You know, so I don't use that too often. And if this is out, right now, if it's out, this whole camera would be out of balance. So the camera was balanced with this in, so you'd have to rebalance everything. So everything is fine tuning on here. It would take me probably with the knowledge that I've got for balancing this, would take me a lot longer than the people that do it every day that are into it. You know, I can fool around with this thing, but trying to balance it for an hour and a half and I'm never satisfied. You know, the camera's supposed to, everything else on, so if I turn it off, which I'll do here, I'll turn it off. Supposed to be an easy way to turn it off, but that's, right now it's easiest. Alright, so right now it's in balance. So if I put it there, it stays, you know. But it's a little bit cocked that way, so I need to do just a little bit of adjustment on it. You know, and that could be due to this being too far out, just that little bit. Push it too far in, and it's good to see how it goes that way. Right, so the shade has got a big bearing on it, on how you balance it. So right now the shade is brought all the way over, and you can see how the camera went that way. I'll show you a little different angle here so you can see. Alright, right now the camera is pretty much in line this way. You know, I don't know how it looks on there on the camera, but if I push this in, well, it didn't do it this time. I mean, it does make a little difference. You know, it'll go this way or that way for balance. So it's not real critical, but you want to get it within reason. You know, we got these levers on here, and then you slide the camera forward or backwards for the going this way, and then also you got where you slide it this way in and out for the balance going this way. You know, you got this way and then you got tipping forward. You know, so when you get the camera perfectly balanced to where it's straight, then you know you're in balance. And then also you got your side movement. When you turn the camera, it should stay put. If it doesn't stay put, that's what this motor is for. Here, you gotta adjust that. You know, so there's a lot involved in adjusting the balancing. So, yeah, so like I said, there's 3 modes. Each mode is programmed through your cell phone. You have to have an app for it. It's kind of complicated, but yet it's not complicated. It takes 2 people. It works out better with 2 people. Somebody that knows how to run the cell phone, that can work the controls. And then when they work the controls, it sets the sensitivity on the motors. It tells you how fast you want the motors to go. And it's not all that complicated once you get it, but when you first get it, it's like a nightmare because you don't understand none of it. You know, so the gimbal right now is just a gimbal without the camera. You can get these. They went way down in price. I mean, this one was, at the time I bought it, it was like $799 for the gimbal. And right now you can buy this whole unit for $499 without the camera. And I don't know if it's because they're going to be changing to a better unit, you know, as time goes on. You know, maybe that's why they dropped the price, but that's the way things go. So anyways, this is my system that I use. You know, you got the camera, the receiver, the transmitter, and then I got all the tools for the joystick to work as I'm walking with the camera. So that's the little review I thought I'd bring to you this morning. This week's been really bad. It's been raining every day. You know, so I was planning on going up to Fort Atkinson, and there's something up there I want to show you, and hopefully I can do that on the next video. So I'll bring that one to you. But with this pandemic going on, there's not really too many places I can go, like I said in the other videos, and I'm doing the best I can on what I got to work with for subject matter, and there's just not a lot going on right now. So we got to see how this pandemic's going to play itself out. You know, so all right, we'll see how this goes, and see how the camera that we're looking at right here, pointing to right there, how that's going to turn out. To me, it looks like it's washed out. This is what I see on the screen. You know, but we'll see how it looks on the computer when I upload it. So, all right, this is the overview of the DJI Ronin S. There's a lot of these out there. A lot of the I don't know if you want to call them pro, but semi-pro people. I've seen them a lot. I've seen a lot of these. Not a lot of them. I've seen one go by when I was watching the Trump campaign. Guy was walking around with one of these with a DSLR camera on it. You know, so very popular. They use them in the news broadcasts. You know, a lot of guys are using them in that. You know, are doing news broadcasts outside, and they're showing different things. You know, so it came a long ways from what they used to have. They used to have a big unit that you had to have 2 handles on it. Your camera was in the middle, and it went up and down how you wanted it. And that was like $4,000. There's no way I was going to get into that. So they came out with this. It says I got to have one of them because I can't hold this camera steady enough to make a decent film. I mean, it's got the dynamic stabilizer in it, which is about as good as you're going to get. Now the G50 camera has got even a better stabilizer in it. They say that you can almost get away completely without using a gimbal at all. I mean, that's how stable that camera is. But you're looking at $1,400, you know, $1,499 again, you know. So I'm not gonna reinvest in buying another camera again. So this is good. It's gonna last me a long time. I've had it for quite a few years now. The gimbal I had for I don't know, 2-3 years, so about 2 years I think. And it's just what it is, you know. So that's what I'm gonna stick with, and it works for me, and that's all I need. You know, so it's just a YouTube thing, you know, it's no big deal. I'm not making any money, I just doing it for a hobby, you know, so. Just another video I thought I brought out just for you to watch, just to tell you I'm still alive and running around doing nothing, just like everybody else is. I sure wish they'd open up so we can get out and about and do some of the things we want to do. Sitting around in the house or, you know, going to your relatives, it's getting to be old. You know, you like close down the fair, they close down the Corn Fest, they close down the Maxwell Street Days of McGonigal, they closed down the Cranberry Fest up in Warrens, they closed down just about every county fair that you can think of. Anything that pertains to crowds, they're all closed, you know, so it leaves all the whole industry of filming for YouTube completely shot. You know, so you're stuck doing chintzy videos that you're not really trying to put across what your channel is all about. So you're stuck with, you know, looking at a few interviews of some of the, or not interviews, or reviews of some of the stuff that I ran into. You know, like last week I did the gun case, and it was the best thing I did because I found out through the comments that somebody had commented, and he said that space behind the shelf on there, after I put it together, was where you stick the guns underneath it and the barrels come through the back side, and then you can put the guns in straight. It never crossed my mind, you know, until that was brought to my attention. You know, and I never thought that you could even get the barrel back there, you know. I mean, if you stick the gun in, you know, into the case sideways, you can get it right in there real nicely. It works real well. So without that guy commenting on that, I would have never known that. I'd be sitting there with my guns in there, you know, leaning sideways. So that's basically what, you know, YouTube's all about. It's about learning. And I've learned more stuff on YouTube by, you know, typing in things that I want to know about. You know, like I've done my skylights that you're not seeing them right now in the film, but right above it, they're lit up, you know, in the kitchen here. And they were flickering. You know, they were flickering every time you turn the switch on, they'd flicker, and one would come on, the other one wouldn't come on. Well, I knew what was wrong. It was the balances. So I went down and got the balances. Well, I had no idea on how to hook them up because the wiring pattern was different. So then after I found out by looking on YouTube, YouTube helped me quite a bit. And then a guy at work showed me a lot about it too. But then even on what the directions said on the balances, if you followed their directions, didn't correspond with the types of lights that I got. You know, it was a little bit different. So we ended up where we had to experiment with it, and we hooked it up the way they said to a point, and then we got one light to light, and the other light didn't light. And it was just a mess. But anyways, we figured it all out, and we were able to use common sense, and after we were all done, it wasn't anything like the instruction says. And all I know is they work right now, and they've been working for weeks, you know, so YouTube helps a lot in, you know, for me on finding out stuff, and I'm sure that it works good for a lot of us, a lot of other people too. So, all right, well, I'm gonna let you guys go. This is the overview of the camera gear that I use. That's about it. That's the only camera I use. You know, I don't. If this camera goes down, I'd have to buy something else, you know. And I was really worried about that when it flipped off the car. You know, I was going to have to buy a new camera. And luckily, this thing is so durable that I mean, it literally came off the back trunk of the car, because I usually set it on top of the back of the car when I'm out on some of these state parks, and then I stand by the car, and then it's just, you can see it's just a little tripod here, you know, it stands pretty good, but the car had a little bit of a slant, and but it sits up there fine, I never have any problem, but I took my hand and I accidentally went across when I set it down, and I slammed right into it without even knowing it, and I knocked it right off the back of the car, and it went down on the asphalt, and I seen pieces flying, which was really nothing. It was just a little hot shoe that was in the bottom of this receiver, and I just called them up, called Samsung up, and they said not a problem, we'll send you one out, you know, because all they do is they screw in, take the old one out, put the new one in, you know. So I was lucky. I got real lucky, and the motors didn't get damaged. On the bottom here, on the base, you know, where these fold down to where you can go like that, and they can hold it up against your stomach while you're walking. It helps a little bit. You know, takes a lot of the strain off of trying to hold it with one hand. You know, but I hold it right here against my stomach while I'm walking, you know, and then I can walk around like this, you know, and it works pretty good. You see the cameras staying very stable, you know, it's not moving up and down or nothing. You know, I don't even have it on. It's not even a good test. It's not even on. That's what it's all about, you know, have something decent where you can work with. So guys, I'm going to cut you off now, and we're going to see how this turns out. So if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button, and subscribe to me if you're new. And one thing I'd like to point out that helps a lot of guys on their channels is that if you could just share the video. You know, if you have a Facebook account or if you got a Twitter account, you know, all you gotta do is post this video to that account if you want to share it. It's not a big deal, you know. That's how you get a lot of feeds coming up on your Facebook, you know. And I post a lot of stuff, you know, politically, and I post a lot of videos that I think are good. And it's real simple. You just hit share, and you go to Facebook, and then you just type a little message on the top, what you thought of the video, and then you hit post. That's all you gotta do. It's not that hard. So that helps out a lot of the YouTubers when you share the video, and the more people that share it, the more popularity you're gonna get. But if you got the same people all the time watching your video, eventually your account's gonna deteriorate. You know, it's gonna go downhill. You're gonna go from 100 views down to 50 views. Before you know it, you'll have 30 views. So what I do is I usually share it myself. I share it to my own Facebook account. So I got about 120 people on here, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that are watching it, you know. But they don't all watch it, you know. If you get 20 out of that 100 and some people I got on there, you know, you get a few on there that'll watch it, you know. But that's one thing I ask everybody to do that, you know, that don't know me, but they know me as, you know, on the channel. They don't know me personally, but if you could just share the video, you know, share it on, like I said, Facebook or Twitter or anything you got, you know, just share the video, because that'll get the video out, it'll get more views, you know. Because YouTube is not going to promote a small channel. They're never going to promote a small channel. You know, it takes so much work to get your channel built up to where they recognize you, and then they'll start using you to promote you. You know, so I'm never going to see this channel grow unless you guys help. So I appreciate it if you guys would share the video. So thank you guys. Like I said, put that thumbs up, subscribe, share the video. And leave comments, you know, leaving comments tells me who you are, tells me that, you know, who I'm talking with or who I'm socializing with. And I get to the comments. I don't always get to the comments right away the same day. You know, it takes a while, but I will get to all the comments. I try the best I can and get to all the comments, and then I answer them. So guys, again, we'll see you on the next one. All right? All right.